Welcome to the A Train Video Podcast. Your host and conductor of the state's number one podcast throughout the state of Kansas, Anthony Smith, Bernie the Midnight Oil. That's right, I am up late, and as we're doing this right now, we are streaming on two YouTube channels of mine, as well as Twitch.tv. So I hope somebody out there is watching, listening, recording on the Riverside platform, the Riverside.fm platform. I have sent some invitations out because I want people to join me. I reached way back to one of my radio buddies. We still stay in contact. Uh, I appreciate him like a brother. He has encouraged me. He has let me know that he listens to my podcast and he lets me know that I have grown from when he first heard me, the time I was actually in my car conducting an interview with him. I'm talking about none other than Jason Marks. He has his own platform as well too on the Marks Media. You should check him out. Brother is dynamic. Matter of fact, he's one of those. I'm just gonna put this out there. I don't like to really reference the name I'm about to reference, but I think he would put Jason Whitlock to shame. Of course, Jason Whitlock does a good job of putting his own self to shame anyway. So that being said, I just had to put that out there like that because Jason is good at what he does. And I appreciate him for his encouragement. One of the ones that keeps me keeping on in what I'm doing and learning this new platform that is Riverside.fm. And I figured out how I can stream it on my other platforms as well too. So yeah, we are live and streaming also two YouTube channels. I'll figure that part out how to reduce it to just one, and also on Twitch.tv. Uh, I don't have a lot lined up for tonight. However, I want to say upon last Saturday, I was thinking about going. First of all, I was thinking about going out to a high school basketball game because I'm telling you, once you get invited and that bug hits you, you just can't seem to get enough. Like I said, I'm still backtracking to the G-Wall ABCTL challenge where I seen two great performances. Uh, I'll say it like this: uh, what we're witnessing here in the state of Kansas, especially here in Wichita, Kansas, at Cape and Mount Carmel Catholic High School, we are witnessing a generational talent in one Zoe Franklin Buckner, hands down. I know I keep mentioning her name on here, but she's worthy of the mention. All she is doing right now, last I checked, I know her scoring average has to be, if it's not 30 points, it's close enough. Uh, she is a pretty much she is a one man wrecking crew, and she does it naturally within the flow of the team's offense. The one thing that I will say, and I will continue to say this, and it's not in no demeaning or derogatory sense. Capon needs another proven score. And I'm not going to say that maybe Zoe feels any pressure, but to alleviate some of the pressure of her having to be the Swiss Army knife, game I seen them playing against Andover Central out at Hartman Arena, it came down to this. It was Zoe Franklin against hot shooting of Andover Central down the stretch. Whereas with Capon, you knew what to expect. Get Zoe the ball and get out the way. Andover Central had 2, 3 girls lighting it up from 3-point range. And that's what did them in. Entertaining game, none the least. Very entertaining game. But if Capon gets another score, go along with Zoe. Because you know teams moving forward, especially when you're playing in the Greater Wichita Athletic League or what we call City League, the one thing you can count on is teams will game plan. Now, thus far, I have yet to see anyone stop Zoe. I doubt if anyone can. You may be able to slow her down, but that's a fit. That's a stretch. But if they can develop another score, a valid 1-2 punch, because teams are start. I believe teams will start scheming and trying to take Zoe out of the offense, try to get her in foul trouble. You develop that extra score. Now you have a headache on your hand. You take Capon against Heights, and automatically, you know, Heights is going to have weapons. You just can't key in on one player. They have multiple weapons. And last week on my regular podcast, when I had Robert Kelly on, he even went as far as to mention one Destiny Mays. He is very enamored with her length, her athleticism, and that's what you get when you play Heights. You can't just zoom in on one player. You have multiple players, and there are other teams in the city league that there's more than one. So if Capon can develop another score, another double-digit score, like 12, 13 points a game, and maybe another one like maybe 10, 12 points a game, you take some of that pressure off of Zoe, but you have more weapons. And you know Zoe's going to be the Swiss Army knife. Points leader, steals leader, assist leader. They got a bona fide rebounder that they do have. I think her name is Ella. I can't think of her last name. I know when I checked her stats, she was averaging close to double figures in rebounds. I want to say congratulations to North High's basketball program, boys team, as they finally, dating back to last year, a 19-game losing streak came to an end. I'm gonna get to that here shortly, but and I know it's very rare that I talk about the guys, but I need to talk about the guys. Heights suffered their first loss against Kansas City Piper. Some key stats though. I don't have none on Kansas City Piper. How about Malachi Wilkins scoring the same amount of points to match his jersey, 21. A total of 15 rebounds, 7 offense, 8 defense. Avin Embol, 3 assists. Uh, no stats on KC Piper, but here's what we do have on Heights. Their stat line: 36% field goal shooting, 46% free throw, 20% 3-point, which led to 54 points, 8 assists, 35 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 blocks. That's their stat line. The reason I don't have a lot of information because this week is tournament week, and one of the big tournaments is one going on out there in Dodge City. Dodge City Tournament of Champions. Going into tonight's or last night's game, however you want to look at it, there were four undefeated teams in the semifinal, I do believe. As a matter of fact, Derby was one of those other teams. Heights was undefeated until tonight's loss or this afternoon's loss. And there has been somewhat of a history because Heights has been notorious for going out to Dodge City. Even some of their state championship winning teams haven't always won that tournament. It's like that tournament provides a speed bump, but then Heights regroups, gets together, runs roughshod through the city. Next thing you know, they're playing that Saturday night in March at Coke Arena against whoever. We also know the situation with Coach. Now, his name is blank to me. I cannot believe that. However, yeah, Coach Joe Hour. Thank you, memory, for kicking back in. Who at the end of this year will be stepping down. So I'm pretty sure it would be an emotional roller coaster ride for that team as well as the coach. I'm pretty sure they had a nice little after game meeting, which probably pretty much went like this. Yes, we play the consolation game tomorrow. Let's come and give it our all. Let's get back home. The regroup starts right now. Not wait till we get back home, get back in the league play. The regroup starts. Go out, play that game like you're playing for something. Which now leads to the next team from the area that was out there in Dodge City, and that would be the team that's up the road, up on Rock Road, Derby Panthers. What did Derby do? Well, we are about to find out because they appear to be on the verge of a very special season. Junction City was the other undefeated team until they went up against Derby, who now stands 10-0. What can we say about Coach Brett Flory and his Derby Panthers? All we can do is just ride this wave as far as it will take us. Unfortunately, we don't have no stats on this game either, but we do know that Derby beat Junction City by the score of 67-57 and will be playing in the championship of the Dodge City Tournament of Champions tomorrow. All I can say to them is congratulations and good luck. This is a special year for Derby. I believe it is. Really do. And the reason I talk a lot about Derby because I was invited to Derby. I was accepted by Derby. Matter of fact, one of our church members, his children go to Derby. I even rode the train until the wheels fell off at the state tournament last year, Derby girls basketball team. And that's another story within itself. Still talking about the beginning of the season when they were without Michaela Askew. Lost to Andover, a team that boasts players such as Leah Green. I believe I pronounced that name right. Bella Budara, and there's many others. And it was a pretty much closely contested game. Just that Andover had just a little bit more firepower at the end of the game to pull away. Fast forward to the G Wall, and Derby is playing a team from the G Wall because Derby plays in ABCTL. I guess Wichita Southeast. And I have a word of caution for Wichita Southeast, mainly your players, especially if you are on social media. Some of the things you were putting out, talking about who does Derby play? They never played no one from the city. You know, the things that ends up on bulletin board, as they say. I want to provide this word of caution for you moving forward and let it be a lesson learned. An old man told me like this, and I'm going to paraphrase it. It says, don't furnish the stick for people to whip you with. Let them find their own stick. They might beat you, but it won't be because you provided the stick. Southeast Girls Basketball Program, not only did you provide the stick, but you got beat by the stick that you provided by going on social media, doing some talking that you shouldn't have been talking. Another old saying, you let your mouth cash a check that your backside couldn't cash. Going forward, don't do that. You lit a fire in one Michaela Askew who went off for 31 points. I had no answer. What has Derby been doing ever since then, since they lost that first game? Win, 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 no matter what. And their hands go up and they stay there. Plain and simple. In Southeast, you may have the makings of a good girls team, but you're not there to where you can talk and be able to back it up against a team of that magnitude. A team that plays defense the way they do. A team that comes at you in waves. Look at the game film. Learn from it. Who knows? You might get on the run and end up playing in state tournament. On the next time, zip it. Let your game do the talking and let your mouth be quiet. Once again, Derby is a whole nother beast, both girls and boys. Girls team, talked with Danny Allen when we was out there at Hartman Arena, and he said the team has yet to hit its peak, which was evident. I mean, Southeast made a little bit of run, not a run to cause concern, but if you're the coach, yes, it caused concern because there were some defensive lapses. Coach Allen said by the time they get to the midseason tournament, they should be clicking on all cylinders. Definitely going into March. I'm just going to go ahead and pencil Derby girls team at most with only one loss, and they already got that loss. No more than two losses. I'm penciling them in for Coke Arena in March. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk about Wichita State Shockers. This is something I normally don't do, but I want to talk about Wichita State Shockers. I want to talk about the Wichita State fan base or lack thereof. I want to talk about the keyboard warriors. I have something to say to you. Now, if you have coached before, this does not apply to you. But if you are like me and have never coached the game, then I'm talking to you. The first thing I want to say is get the notion out of your head because the man is living in your head rent free, which is why come you still say this. You want Greg Marshall to walk through that door. It's not going to happen. Now, some of you are giving Paul Mills the Isaac Brown treatment. As a matter of fact, some of y'all, and I can say some of y'all because I've read y'all's comments. 2 years in, 11-8, already ready for a coaching replacement. Now, if you don't respond, then we will never know who you are. Can I share something with you? There's probably a reason that we don't have enough NIL collected. We're paying 3 coaches. Let me name them: Greg Marshall, Paul Mills, Isaac Brown. Oh, by the way, yeah, Isaac Brown is probably still around here in town because I have on good authority. Partner of mine, I'm not going to mention his name, told me that he saw Isaac Brown at the Dwight D. Eisenhower Airport. I guess when you're getting paid like this, you can move around and go wherever you want to go, when you want to go. Can't nobody tell you where you can't go. When I say lack thereof a fan base, what are y'all waiting for? I know we got streaming devices, Hulu, and that's for people like me who got a crazy work schedule, who can't get to the games unless it's on the Saturday. Yes, I can watch them on ESPN Plus. But a lot of you, y'all really just don't realize how much a fan base and fan support could play a big role in helping this team out. Now, same person that informed me that he saw Isaac Brown at Mid-Continent Airport would tell me that, you know, who's in the stands doesn't matter. I still beg to differ. And I know this fan base is playing wait and see. Would it have made a difference if they would have beat Memphis by the time they come back home? Would you be ready to go support this team? When I say support, even in worse years, under Scott Thompson, Mike Cohen, you still had over 7,000 strong. Now, when I see these games pop up on ESPN Plus, I'm embarrassed because don't you know potential recruits see this? Don't you know when they see lack of people in the stands, they wonder where is the support at? And I know y'all saying, well, the transfer portal and NIL is killing college sports. That may be true. It may not be true. Yes, as some of you in the chat room call them now, the team up north, PayU University, rightfully so. And yeah, maybe we don't have the funds to compete against the big schools. But don't you know if we have a good loyal fan base, not the bandwagon, not the we're gonna wait till they win 20 plus games on the year in and year out basis. No, not those. We need those who are willing to get down and dirty on the groundwork while they rebuild. And can I share something with you? We're not gonna see college basketball the way it used to be. As long as we have a transfer portal, as long as we have NIL, it's not going to be the same. If you want to get accustomed to what we're seeing, go watch a JUCO game. But for those of you, I'm going to address those of you who think that Paul Mills should be gone after his second year. Get your head out of where the sun don't shine. After the Memphis game, even where they held Memphis to 61 points on their home court, and for a stretch there in the second half, they were going back and forth until the turnovers doomed them. Some of you just put all of that on the coach. You're like, well, I'm pretty sure that's how they practice, and how you practice is how you play. Practice. Talking about practice, not a game, but practice. Can I share something with you? Most of you in this same Shocker chat group don't have a clue of what goes on in practice. I'm pretty good doing that, don't I? Y'all have the slightest idea. There's only one person I know, and I'm not going to call his name because he will see this video. He will tell me what goes on because I'm pretty sure he's had access to some practices. But I'm pretty sure when something goes awry in practice, Paul Mills is like, hey, stop, run that back. Hey, stop, run that back. Hey, now here's how you have to do this. Let's correct this problem. We're not there to see that. All we see is what happens on the court. And the first person to get the blame is the coach. But as some players, the players also have to be accountable. Everybody wants to blame it on the coach. Coach this, coach that. What is coach doing with these players? Coach is trying to maximize and get the best out of these players. That's what he's doing. I even see it in the fact that they're not shooting as many 3 pointers as they used to. Matter of fact, if I can, I'm going to pull up stats from last night's game because I think this will put things in perspective. And those of you who know me know I'm a big. I've been really big on shouldn't they don't have to shoot that many threes. One thing I will say is I would like to see Quincy get more touches in the paint. There was a few plays in that Memphis game where nobody could stop him down low. Quincy, in my opinion, Quincy Ballard deserves to get more touches than what he's actually getting. I believe he could dominate the paint. There's not too many dominant big men in the American Athletic Conference. And we need to take advantage of that and keep running it until someone stops it. But we're going to take a look at just what transpired in this Wichita State game last night, one in which Shockers came up short by the score of 61-53. As number 24, Memphis rallies for a second half comeback. A 12-2 run to end the game silenced Wichita State's upset bid over number 24, Memphis 61-53 Thursday night in the FedEx Forum. Wichita State 11-8, 1-5 has now dropped its last 10 games versus ranked opponents and remains winless in its last 7 trips to FedEx Forum. Harlem Beverly scored a season high 18 points on 8 of 14 shooting. Corey Washington chipped in 11, and Quincy Ballard added another double-double with 10 points and 10 rebounds. See what I'm talking about? To me, that's some form of domination. Xavier Bell saw his double-figure streak come to an end after being held scoreless for the first time this season. He battled foul trouble all night and finished 0 for 4 from the floor. Another thing I want to talk about. Some of you come down so hard on Xavier Bell, and for what? Some of y'all are saying that the players are playing selfishly. No, I say they're probably playing more with reckless abandon in the fact that they're more in attack mode, attacking the basket. I've lost count how many times I've seen these guys attacking the basket, trying to get the easy two as opposed to staying out trying to be Steph Curry. And for that, I applaud them for that. What's going to happen is as they drive to the basket, the defenders has to be on their P's and Q's. I either take a charge or I try to contest a shot and risk fouling them, putting them on the free throw line. Yes, we do need to do a better job making our free throws. Sometimes the referee calls it, sometimes the referee doesn't. Anyway, Wichita State committed a season high 22 turnovers. Ouch. 13 of them coming in the second half. It marked the first time since 2023 Wichita State finished with 20 turnovers in the game. The Shockers also misfired on 13 of their 16 three-point attempts. Now, yes, they took 16 attempts, only made 3 of them. There was a time there where it would have been maybe 25 attempts and only 3 shots went in. No, I don't like that stat any more than y'all do. But I like it when they're in attack mode, attacking the basket, steady going after the other team, steady going after the basket. Defensively, Wichita State played one of his better games. They forced 20 Memphis turnovers and held the Tigers to 6 of 19 from beyond the arc. Memphis came into the game one of the best teams in the country at getting to the line, but finished just 9 of 15. PJ Haggerty entered the contest third in the country in scoring at better than 22 points per game and hit that mark again with a game high 22 points. Former Shocker Kobe Rogers was held to 3 points on 1 of 10 shooting. Wichita State's defense was the key to the first half, forcing 14 turnovers and holding the Tigers to just 9-23 from the field. 14 turnovers were the most the Tigers committed in a half this season. After Memphis jumped out to an early 5-0 lead, Wichita State settled in. The Shockers would lead by as many as 8 in the first half until back-to-back Haggerty buckets made it 27-23 at the half. Wichita State pushed its lead back to 7 just over 5 minutes into the second half before Memphis started to make its comeback. With 11:17 to go, the Tigers regained the lead for the first time since early in the first half, 40-39. Over several minutes, the two teams traded buckets and the lead until Wichita State went cold. Following 2 ballot free throws with 4:54 remaining, Wichita State held a 51-49 lead, but would not score again until 11 seconds left and the game already decided. Back-to-back Memphis three-pointers gave the Tigers a 54-51 lead that would be all they needed. Up next, Wichita State and Tulsa meet Sunday afternoon in the Donald W. Reynolds Center at 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus. So all we can do now is pick ourselves up, lace up our bootstraps, and fight like hell, and get that victory at Tulsa. Well, that will about do it for me. Hope you have enjoyed this version of the A Train Sports Talk podcast on video platform, Riverside.fm. Like I said, Saturday, I hope to have my good friend Jason Marks as we will dive into this fiasco, this disaster, this dumpster fire, the demise of what was once called America's team, which is now, in the words of Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, known as the Dallas Cowboys. And we will also talk playoffs with my good friend, Jason Marks. You need to check him out on Marks Media. Check him out. He knows his sports. I enjoy my time working with him back in the days at a station on the west side of Wichita. Also, I want to put a plug in for the station I'm at part time. You need to tune in to KFH Sports Radio, 1240 AM, 97.5 FM. Get your day started at 7 o'clock with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Castor. Then 5 o'clock in the evening, tune in to the Bob and Jeff Show. Well, that will just about do it for me until the next time. I also want to say, get out and check out these young basketball players. I didn't give you all my story as of last Saturday when I went out to Holy Savior. I went again to check out my little partner, William Buckner. Love his demeanor, love his humble spirit. Seventh grader, making straight A's. Yeah, I put emphasis on that because if they were just being passed through, you would wonder about the school system. But he plays for Resurrection School. Uh, got to meet his dad as well too. Very well spoken young man. Met his mother as well too. And the one thing I'll say about this podcasting that I'm doing, and it has opened up the door for me to meet people. And the response I get is, keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate what you're doing, but I appreciate them accepting me for what I'm doing. And that's what gives me the motivation to keep on doing what I'm doing. Without their acceptance and their validation, their encouragement, I don't know if I can continue to do this. But because of their continued encouragement, whether it be William's parents, whether it be Zoe's parents, ran into, I call him my cousin, uh, Chris Ellis, who is the father of Samaya Ellis. I've had the chance to meet Michaela Askew's parents, uh, the Derby community, the Mays South community. Uh, Meeting these other young ladies that play at these other schools and parents talking about keep doing what you're doing, advocating, and we appreciate what you're doing. That's the reason I do this. I may never be a household name, may never be a famous person, but I'm going to continue to say I have the number one podcast in the state of Kansas, not because of me, but because of you who listen and the guests I have on. So stay tuned because I will be having the video guest on as well too. And I'm looking forward to doing that. That's just going to take things to a whole nother level. Once again, this is streaming on twitch.tv and two YouTube channels. So once I get all that figured out, I will let you know. But until the next time, you take care of yourself and each other. This is not work. This is fun. A train is pulling back into the station.